All right, here we go on the Bernie and Sid show. Here on this Friday Eve, Thursday.
This is cat scratch fever. This is for me, obviously, because I've got a blazing fever. I am seconds away from death.
You are a huge Ted Nugent fan as well.
I am.
We know that.
Yeah.
Sid Rosenberg not feeling well this morning.
That may be the understatement of the year. That may be saying like Hillary Clinton told a white lie one.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
So listen, let's tell us what the problem is.
I don't know.
You're not sure?
I left here yesterday. I felt great. I went to the gym, worked out with Nayor, felt great. Went home last night, saw my brother-in-law, Albert, my sister, Ray Sherry, my wife and kids. Did my fantasy football draft with my buddy Jonathan Siegel and all of his buddies. Felt great. And
did you do number 2 on the potty? I mean,
what
happened?
I'll tell you what happened. The fantasy football draft, I believe, is 15 rounds. So about round 6, I got Ben Roethlisberger, I got Doug Martin, I got A.J. Green. This is inside baseball. About round 6, I couldn't stay awake. I couldn't hold my head up, and I was farting.
Oh.
And
what's new?
Really?
Well, what the thing is anyone who tells you natural gas doesn't have lumps were not in my pants last night.
Come on, man. Sid is suffering from food poisoning, we believe.
You know, it's funny you say that because I missed it a whole bit yesterday. We're driving into work, Danielle and I.
Ironically.
About how there's no such thing as food poisoning. He's sick of it. But I went for Chinese food last night, and I'm convinced that cat wasn't well. So.
You're making me sick of that. I'm going to lose my appetite, all right?
I almost spit up my coffee. I was taking a sip.
I'm going to try to get through the day, and that's it.
Okay, so it could be food poisoning. Could be. You're suffering from a fever.
I've got a fever.
You were sweating on the train.
I was freezing on the train, even though I'm wearing long sleeves and it's 90 degrees. Look at my nips.
Wow.
The headlights are on, babe.
That's hot.
My voice is getting a little scratchy. I'm nauseous as can ever be. I mean, I can puke on this table at any time.
Jill says you're getting sick because Trump's going up in the polls.
That is part of it, sure.
That's part of it.
Yeah, that's really killing me.
And maybe you watched the forum last night on the Intrepid over at the Hudson with Matt
I did
Lauer.
watch that. I thought Hillary was particularly good. I thought she was great this morning outside the plane in White Plains. I thought she was great.
You are one of the few who thought she did well because
one of the few million, of course, that's going to vote for her.
Well, actually, the left-wing press, they're furious over her performance, but they're blaming Matt Lauer for it.
Yeah, well, that's good.
They said he was too tough on her, and to which I say, Matt Lauer, he finally grew a pair. He wasn't a lackey like George Stephanopoulos.
No, he was tough.
Kissing her ass.
Yeah.
He was like Billy Bush talking to, I don't know, some
P.
Hollywood
Diddy.
actress.
The Republicans also took a shot at her and said, this is unbelievable, that she didn't smile enough last night.
She was, listen, the fact of the matter is she was defensive and angry, and I believe it was because she was not used to handling tough questions, the likes of which Matt Lauer asked her.
Yeah, Pop. Oh, sorry.
There you
don't even start, bro.
As long as it's coming out that end.
Well, I can't guarantee you anything.
Okay.
Most people would have left when I was sleeping on my couch in my office about 9:30. Just called it a day, but in my effort to be here for you because I love you, this audience, they deserve it.
That's right.
Even though they hate me, some of them, I'm sticking around, and if I throw up or vomit or crap my pants or whatever.
Should people that have fevers stay home?
Of course they should stay home. It's good. It's very selfish because a fever can be what do you call that? Contagious.
I'm wearing a surgical mask, but then again, I do that every day. So just chill out.
Right.
Sid, plaudits to you. You're Willis Reed coming out in the fourth quarter now, back in '69 or whatever.
Actually, the better comparison, because Willis Reed had a leg injury, would be Michael Jordan, who came out against the Utah Jazz. He had the flu that night, 104 fever, was vomiting, the whole deal.
Dysentery.
Right, and he scored like 45 points, and they won the NBA Finals. So
stuff dripping down his leg.
Right.
It's horrible.
Terrible.
So anyway, let's go. Let's play some examples, if we will, of Matt Lauer taking it to Hillary Clinton last night, and maybe see how she handles it. What do you say, Sid?
I think it's a great idea.
Do you think it'll make you sick? Oh, by the way,
I'd rather hear about Tim Tebow coming to my Mets.
I was just going to say, yes, Tim Tebow is.
Isn't that unbelievable?
That's incredible.
Yeah,
God has come to the Mets.
Well, that's silly. The Mets always do that type of thing, that little added extra, publicity for no. I mean, can Tim Tebow play? I doubt it, but he's a Met.
Hey, Which brings me to this question. Why is it that when Tim Tebow used to kneel and pray, he got killed in the press, but Colin Kaepernick takes a knee during the national anthem, and he's like, a mega hero with the media. What the hell's up with that?
Because he's black.
Oh, okay. All right.
See,
you answer the question.
The answers are very simple. The problem in America today is everybody is so damn afraid to say it. Why is Colin Kaepernick selling jerseys and a hero? Because black people love him right now.
Well, it's not only that. He's bashing America. A lot of the leftists hate America. In fact, who was it yesterday? Our boy Milo was telling us that's why the left has a soft spot in their heart for radical Islam, because like radical Islam, they hate America as well. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
I love that.
And that's something similar along the lines with. And by the way, John Tortorella, the former Rangers coach,
he's a maniac.
He said something. He's got a son who serves in special forces in Afghanistan, and he's going to be coaching some USA hockey team.
We have that cut if you want to hear it.
Let's hear it.
If I was ever involved in a situation where someone is trying to make a point but to disrespect our flag and anthem, they would not play. You can protest. You have a right to protest. But I look at that and I look at our flag, our national anthem. How many people have lost their lives to protect that?
Exactly. I mean, couldn't have said it any better.
No, listen.
And of course, all based, as I said yesterday, on ignorance, on a falsehood. You just look. I looked it up again this morning. It was the New York Times, the Washington Post, a black professor at Harvard.
I read that column. That is a great column.
More white suspects are shot way more than blacks once apprehended. In altercations with police, white suspects are shot.
The Washington Examiner ran a story yesterday stating the same exact thing, citing the same exact facts, that in fact Black Lives Matter is based on nonsense.
And so perpetuating this ignorance as Colin Kaepernick, and by the way, we have a cut from Skip Bayless.
Oh, one of the greats.
Who shall hereby be known as Skip Brainless. Perpetuating this ignorance as Colin Kaepernick and Skip Bayless is doing is actually costing lives in the inner city, because it's the Ferguson effect. Cops are not doing this community policing, and people are dying. These people actually have blood on their hands. Listen to Skip Bayless.
I do know this as a white guy. We have an outrageous problem in this country. Too many black men have died at the hands of policemen, defenseless black men, without penalty. And I don't understand it. And I've often said this on television. I don't get it.
And that's all he's saying.
When will this stop?
What the hell is he looking at? What statistic is this idiot
reading? It's a made-up. It doesn't exist.
I'm telling you, just the Washington Post, the New York Times, the black Harvard professor. It's easily checkable. Yep. How can he spread this stuff? And again, it's poisonous. It's costing lives. It's wrong. And of course, Kaepernick, even if it was right, the way to protest it is not to disrespect the men and women in uniform and our flag and our country. There's a way to take care of it, and I don't think that is. But it's based on a falsehood. That's the bottom line.
Well, not just that. Again, I know the story's an old story at this point. Not only did he kneel for the national anthem, which is absolutely disrespectful to the veterans that died. I don't know how you deem it any other way. But again, going back to the socks incident, how are you okay with a guy wearing socks with pigs dressed as cops?
Right.
I mean, how is that okay?
That's absolutely outrageous.
All these callers yesterday that were yelling and screaming at me and us, and we're not tolerant and blah, blah, blah. Not one could defend Colin Kaepernick wearing socks that depicted police as pigs. Not one. If they try to defend it, then they're lowlives just like Kaepernick.
By the way, our general manager is in the control room.
It's his birthday today. Happy birthday to the great Chad Lopez.
Yeah,
he's
Thanks,
a genius.
guys, but don't worry about me. Worry about yourselves and keep doing the great job you're doing.
Thank you.
Just give us more money, Chad.
Right. Negotiations are coming up in a couple of weeks. So.
What are those socks you got on there? What the hell are you?
Shayla.
That's outrageous. I'm not going to say what they are.
I wonder what Chad...
Actually, Chad is a Navy veteran.
Yes, he's a hero.
He's actually a hero.
He's a hero.
Chad Lopez, the general manager. He runs, 4 or 5 radio stations here in the 17th
absolutely.
floor.
They love
Guys,
him.
We're killing it.
I wonder what.
Happy birthday, brother.
I wonder what he does. He's a great-looking guy. He's 44 years old. He's built like a brick blank house.
He is.
He's a great-looking guy. He's got a great personality. He's making tons and tons of money. He's a great boss. What does he do on his birthday?
Ladies love.
What do you think he does?
Some Chad Lopez. What does he do?
Yeah.
He comes in, he struts around. He plays a little grab ass with Flirty in the control room.
Of course.
And then he leaves at lunchtime.
And that's it.
And he goes to meets his girlfriend. What do you think he does?
What a great deal.
We give him a nice gift after the show. And
you did?
Fine. We will.
Don't forget, contract negotiations are weeks away.
I'll take one for the team.
You're good like that.
I am.
Always have been, actually.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, we have to get into. I have a buku of audio from last night. Some good stuff, and Bill Clinton also. Some very, very good stuff. I think, and we'll keep it. We'll tone it down here because Sid is hurting.
A little bit.
Sid is playing injured right now.
Very injured, actually.
If you get Jesse Ventura sick, he's going to kick your ass.
He ain't going to do nothing.
And that's a good point.
He ain't going to do nothing.
Flirty's way of telling us to promote the fact that Jesse Ventura will be our in-studio guest next hour. He's got a new book out advocating for the legalization of marijuana.
His guy today really embarrassed himself, Gary Johnson, on with Joe Scarborough this morning on MSNBC.
Good call, Sid. Good call. Let's get that clip out.
Asked about Aleppo. He's like, who's that?
I told you this guy was a freaking kook.
Oh, of course
I told you.
He's burnt out of his mind.
Yes, speaking of weed, he actually takes away the governor's argument about legalizing weed.
That's right. He makes it worse.
It has
Let's play it. It's so
damaging effects. Take a listen.
What would you do if you were elected?
This is great.
About Aleppo.
About
Aleppo.
And what is Aleppo?
You're kidding. No. Aleppo is in Syria. It's the epicenter of the refugee crisis.
Okay, got it.
Oh, really?
Well, with regard to Syria, I do think that it's a mess. I think that the only way that we deal with Syria is to join hands with
guns.
Russia to diplomatically bring that at an end.
It's like, what do you think of Beirut? Well, I thought he was a great baseball player back in the day. That's unbelievable.
Mike Barnacle, you had to see his face. He's like, what? You don't know what? Can't run for president? Come on.
That was sort of a half a gotcha question.
Half a gotcha.
Because, I mean, like, what would you do with Aleppo? That's kind of out of left field.
Well, I think a lot of people...
A weird phrasing.
They know a lot about Raqqa. I don't know if a lot of people on the street know about Aleppo necessarily.
I have to say that our producer, Flirty,
she had no idea, right?
Who's Aleppo? She said to me, who's that?
Oh, my God.
But listen, anybody that's tangentially involved in politics or broadcasting or whatever the hell you call it, you have to know what the hell Aleppo is.
Absolutely.
And Gary Johnson is just done now. I mean, that's horrendous.
Well, Jesse Ventura, last time he was on, was very emphatic, very enthusiastic in endorsing Gary Johnson.
Yeah.
What will Jesse, who can't stand Trump and or Clinton and beat my cousin, mind you, for the gubernatorial in the state of Minnesota, what will Jesse Ventura say today?
1-800-848-9222. Bernie and Sid playing sick back after this.
77 WABC.
The word judgment has been used a lot around you, Secretary Clinton, over the last year and a half, and in particular concerning your use of your personal email and server to communicate while you were Secretary of State. You've said it's a mistake. You said you made not the best choice. You were communicating on highly sensitive topics. Why wasn't it more than a mistake? Why wasn't it disqualifying if you want to be Commander-in-Chief?
The outrage.
Wow.
The gall, the temerity, the balls of Matt Lauer to actually to interrogate Madam Secretary in that fashion.
He had to hate that, though. He had to hate that.
Has people outraged that he did that stuff. And, of course, again, as I said earlier, it wasn't George Stephanopoulos acting like a lackey. She was shocked. She was actually shocked.
I'm sure.
And then it actually, listen to this Q&A right here. She sounds flustered, trying to give an answer.
Were some of the emails sent or received by you referring to our drone program, our covert drone program?
Yes, because, of course, there were no discussions of any of the covert actions in process.
It was a terrible night for her, which is why she held this press conference, this impromptu press conference this morning to essentially have a do-over.
She was great.
She was great this morning, you said?
Great this morning.
I missed most of it, but she was terrible last night.
It wasn't a great night. I'll agree.
It was not.
How great was it for Donald Trump?
It was very good.
Oh, stop.
He didn't put his foot in his mouth.
No, of course not.
And he was actually presidential.
He did not put his foot in his mouth.
That's
He's
right.
thrilled to death to take compliments from Vladimir Putin. He's thrilled about that. Hey, if he's going to call me a genius, I love the guy. This is Vladimir Putin.
You're going to hear from you heard Gary Johnson, who screwed up the Aleppo thing, but did say yes, we have to work with the Russians to fight ISIS. You're going to hear Jesse Ventura, who you love, say the same exact thing when he comes in next hour. We have to work with the Russians.
Sure.
And Trump's essentially saying that. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. Bernie and Sid, hurting Sid.
Yeah, but I'm here.
That's right. He's here.
ISIS wants Donald Trump to win. Did you hear that report this morning?
Listen to one more clip before we get to that.
Let me
Matt
hear this.
Lauer.
Okay.
This is really going hard. He goes harder right here.
Well, let me say the FBI just released their report about their investigation. They discussed drone matters in the unclassified section
but
of their
Director
report.
Comey also said this after reviewing all the information. He said there is evidence to support a conclusion that any reasonable person in Secretary Clinton's position should have known that an unclassified system was no place for that conversation.
The nerve of this guy.
All right, so.
He's going to be disinvited to all these Hamptons parties,
No, he
these
won't.
Park Avenue parties.
Once she wins, it'll all go under it won't matter.
He will be a pariah.
Water under the bridge.
In the NBC building, they're going to be pelting him with, in the commissary with apples or whatever the hell they have there.
You got to give him credit.
I have to give him
He
credit.
stepped up. He stepped up to the plate.
He actually grew a pair.
He
no doubt
knows.
about it.
He knows it doesn't matter. She's going to win anyway. So why not at least come up as a real journalist, ask the real questions, get folks like you all fired up, more email talk, which America's sick of.
Let me just say this.
And he looks like $1 million.
If she hadn't been hiding the past 18 months, she'd be ready for these types of questions. That's what happens when you hide, when you stay home and you watch TV and the soap operas. You go to sleep, you come out in one rally with 80 people and go back home for a week, as Trump says.
Right.
Let's go to John from Westchester real quick. John, you're on with Bernie and Sid on WABC. Good morning, John.
Hi, how are you?
Hey,
Good.
what's up?
Good, bro.
I just wanted to comment on Sid's problem this morning.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's MSG. You had Chinese food last night. You have a high fever. Your head is probably killing you.
Killing me.
Take it off the pillow. You nauseous.
Nauseous. And you know what, John? My eyes are burning. This is not a what do you call that? A sinus type of thing. But my eyes are. So you think it's too much MSG?
Yeah, you'll be fine by tomorrow. It has to run through your system.
Okay.
But
it's running through it like a Japanese bullet train. Trust me,
Dr. John.
It's running through it.
Hey,
my
John,
on fire.
John, is it infectious? Can the people around him catch it?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay,
you can't catch it or anything. But basically, you're weak as can be. You can't move. You're going to the bathroom.
That's right.
Your head is killing you.
Exactly
you're
right.
Weak.
Yeah.
Yet yesterday you felt fine. You went to the gym. You were moving a ton of weight.
Right.
And all of a sudden last night you felt like you couldn't even move your body.
That's exactly right. Yes.
By the way, John is a chiropractor, so whatever he just said.
He's a gynecologist. He's a proctologist, actually.
John, thanks.
I'm in the medical field. I don't want to give my whole name, but yeah, I'm in the.
No, you wouldn't want to do
Well,
that.
I appreciate it, man. You're probably right.
You wouldn't want to be associated with Bernie and Sid in your profession.
No.
Listen, thanks, John, for the diagnosis.
But he nailed it. He everything he thought were the exact symptoms I've got this morning, so he nailed it.
And he says it's because of MSG overload from Chinese food.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, Imus doesn't want to hear it, but I've got it. I've got some type of. I got the mung.
You have to order your Chinese food with no MSG.
I go to a great place. The place is great. I can't believe I'm sick today.
You actually hear the cats howling in the back while they skin them live. 1-800.
Have you lost faith in the military commanders?
I have great faith in the military. I have great faith in certain of the commanders, certainly, but I have no faith in Hillary Clinton or the leadership. You look at what's happened, and, when she comes in and starts saying, I would have done this, I would have... She's been there for 30 years. I mean, we need change, Matt. We have to have it, and we have to have it fast.
That was Donald Trump here on Bernie and Sid on 77 WABC. And Flirty Flipper, that sounds like Irish music.
Yes, it does.
It's Chinese music. We're trying to make Sid barf.
Oh, so you play
freezing right now.
He really is sick. It's not funny. It's not even funny
No,
anymore.
I know. He's very sick.
Yeah, but you don't care.
No, she doesn't care.
It just sounds good on the show.
You think it's a joke.
Right. She don't care.
You're playing Trump clips and Chinese music in an effort to get Sid more sick.
Exactly.
Right. And it's not funny at all.
In fact, he's got, on the television inside the studio, he's got Rachel Ray on with all this food, and I want to barf.
Yeah.
I swear I want to barf.
And it ain't the food.
I can't.
Now listen, let me just say this. Hillary Clinton last night.
Well, hold on. Before we get to Hillary Clinton, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
You played that wonderful card. He loves the generals. He loves the but it's Obama and it's Clinton's fault. And what about when he actually says that our generals have been reduced to rubble? I mean, he talks out of both sides of his mouth. On one hand, he says, I love our generals. I love them. I'm behind them. They're great. Yeah. On the other hand, he says, They're the worst.
Because they've been emasculated by President Obama and the leadership. They can't, by the rules of engagement over there in the Middle East, so that you can't bomb, for example, a convoy with the drivers inside their trucks if they're carrying ISIS oil. That type of thing. They've been totally emasculated, totally PC'd out by this president, and that's what he's talking about. They've been reduced to rubble. A really clumsy way to say what he meant. Of course, here I am translating once again,
right?
As you often point out.
Right, you're great at it.
But his instincts are right. For example, they don't want to bomb the oil facilities because they're worried about ISIS's oil facilities because they're worried about the environment. How freaking stupid is that?
But you also can't. If you steal the oil, is that not a crime?
Well, now you're talking about a different topic.
That's a crime.
That's a different topic.
Let's go in and take the oil. That's a crime.
That's a different topic.
Okay.
But yet, if you're going to go into invade Iraq, you're going to nation build. You're going to do this noble thing.
Nobody wants to do that.
Where you set up electrical grid systems, a voting system for the people. You're going to get rid of a tyrant. Well, his thought is, well, then we should repay ourselves. But they're wealthy with all kinds. They're overflowing with oil.
Yeah.
Why not pay for it and pay the families of the dead guys and the mutilated soldiers with some of the oil money? That's what that kick their ass and take their gas.
So
that's not a bad philosophy.
Okay. So you think he's actually outlined a plan? You think he's actually outlined a plan?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
He hasn't outlined a plan. He says he has a plan.
Right.
And he said he will instruct the generals to come up with a plan 30 days.
Well, he says he has a plan, but then he says, I will instruct the generals to come up with a plan, and if I like it, then I'll go with it. So which one is it?
He will compare his plan to their plan. Listen, I don't care. I don't want her stinking plan.
Okay.
And speaking of which, listen to her talk about the vote for Iraq. She said this last night on the Intrepid with Matt Lauer. Take a listen.
I think that the decision to go to war in Iraq was a mistake. And I have said that my voting to give President Bush that authority was, from my perspective, my mistake.
Okay.
Well, a lot of folks aren't willing to admit that. Even Milo yesterday.
So I want to ask, where's the apology then? Where's the apology to the
it was right there.
There's like 4,000 or 5,000 dead soldiers.
Right.
That I mean, this is no joke.
Where's Donald Trump's apology? Because he initially was for the war.
He actually was a legislator
for the war.
Who voted for it.
He wasn't in politics.
I think George Bush. I think John McCain.
Right.
I think Hillary Clinton. I think
your
cousin Norm Coleman.
Round up
1,000
of them.
Apologize.
Round up
That's
1,000
right.
of them.
Absolutely
Wolfowitz,
right.
Condoleezza Rice, Rumsfeld, keep going. Cheney.
All of you, you're damn right. You're damn right about that. Half of those guys are war criminals, in my opinion. But she's running for president, and she should apologize for that damn vote.
She did.
She did not.
What'd she say right there just now?
She said it was a mistake.
All right, well,
she
kind
never
of an apology.
apologized. There are guys without limbs that and they have to. That's not right.
Are you okay?
Whatever. No.
They have to live with the notion that what they did, what they suffered and died, or in some cases died for,
right,
was a mistake. How horrible is that?
Well, it is what it is. You keep saying you want people to say that they made a mistake, and now she's done it, and it's still not good enough. For the longest time, you said, when will the people who voted for the Iraq war come out and say, hey, unlike Jeb Bush, hey, that was a mistake. So now she's done it.
Bernie Sanders did a wonderful job forcing her into saying the right things. But still, I want a damn apology.
For you?
And by the way, she didn't learn a lesson. She went into Libya. But she wanted to take out Bashir Assad. President Obama had to step back.
By the way, who else thought it was a great idea to go into Libya?
I don't know.
Oh, Donald Trump.
She was Secretary of
Donald
State.
Trump. Well, he didn't have a job. What does that mean?
He wasn't privy.
He wasn't in politics. But everything you said,
the guy was on the Celebrity Apprentice.
I get it, but he agreed with all of these moves. That's the nonsense here. It's very easy now that he's running to come back and say, look what she's done, when the truth is, and you know this, the truth is, he was behind every one of those moves. All of them.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Hey, look, Sid's feeling better. I like it. Now, listen,
I'm not.
Speaking of which, her pervert
husband.
Birth,
and something came out. Did you hear it?
It's
like bile, bro. Bile.
I just hope it's coming out only that end because it's starting to get foul in this studio.
The guy's honest truth. I bring a little red bag to work every single day. You've seen me, my little red bag. I've got like Bernie and Sid shirts in there, my iPad,
sure,
all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of syringes.
Right, syringes, right. So today I actually bought an extra pair of, I swear to God, a new pair of boxer shorts because I was deathly afraid on the B train I was going to crop my. So I have a brand new pair of boxer shorts that I made change into before I go home today. How about that?
What about the panties that you normally come in here with? You pack an extra pair of those.
Yeah, you're right. I should.
I'm with her. Hey, listen to, speaking of which, Bill Clinton yesterday making fun of Donald Trump's Make America Great Again slogan.
Yes, it was great.
Take a listen.
Yeah.
That message, I'll give you America great again, is if you're a white Southerner, you know exactly what it means, don't you? What it means is, I'll give you the economy you had 50 years ago, and I'll move you back up on the social totem pole and other people down.
There you go.
Can you imagine this guy who back in 2008 told Ted Kennedy, said, hey, a few years ago, this guy Barack Obama would be getting us coffee. He's calling Trump racist for this Make America Great.
What do you want him to do?
Well, listen to Bill Clinton in 2008 when his wife was running for president back against Barack Obama. This is Bill Clinton. Take a listen.
It's time to make America great again. I know Hillary's the one who can do it.
Does he think that the tape doesn't exist?
I don't think he cares. And I don't think most of America cares. Wait, so Donald Trump stole that from Bill Clinton?
No, he didn't steal it.
What do you mean?
He
Make
just
America
said
great again.
Excuse me. He said it was a racist slogan. Did you hear him? And then yet he used it 8 years ago. I'm highlighting the hypocrisy. How could that went right past you? I'll let you go because you're sick.
But here's the issue. I don't think anybody voting for Hillary, I really mean this, for the most part, doesn't believe she's a liar. I think she's a liar. That she's corrupt. That Bill is corrupt. That Bill's full of crap. That Bill did some unsavory, if not illegal things with women. I think we all know this. Yeah. I don't think anybody's out there like people call the station and go, well, she's a liar. I know that.
That's true.
I get it. But I will tell you that the majority of people that will willingly vote for Hillary Clinton know she's a liar and yet feel safer leaving the country in her hands than crazy Donald Trump.
Stupid people.
Well, maybe.
But now listen to Bill Clinton. But it's fun to point these things out, especially when it happens yesterday. And it's clearly he should know these things are on tape because I knew right away. The websites dug up that 2008 thing that he said about Hillary Clinton. I remembered that he had said it in 1992, and I dug these up from 1992. Bill Clinton running for president against Bush 41. Take a listen.
I believe that together we can make America great again.
I want to attack these problems and make America great again.
To secure a better future for your children and your grandchildren and to make America great again.
And yet Trump is racist because his Make America Great Again slogan is racist.
Nobody said Make America Great Again was a racist slogan. When you back it up with Make America Great Again by banning Muslims and women and blacks and Latinos and Mexicans and Jews, and then it becomes somewhat racist.
Play the original clip of Bill Clinton from yesterday, Mike, please. The first one we played. This is what he said.
I got you. I know what he said.
That message, I'll give you America great again, is if you're a white Southerner, you know exactly what it means, don't you? What it means is, I'll give you the economy you had 50 years ago, and I'll move you back up on the social totem pole and other people down.
Well, it had nothing to do with the Muslim thing or any of that stuff. It had to do with the
why aren't you talking about the fact that we are quick to point out the quid pro quo, which is fine, and it did happen, and they should be honestly they should probably be in jail. I get that, the Clintons, but when Pam Bondi makes the Trump University case go away because Donald Trump has a $3,000 per plate dinner on her behalf to help her win down in the state of Florida. Why is that completely omitted from today's program?
Well,
why is that?
The point of that is, first of all, wait.
I love you.
Now, listen.
Right.
Listen, we have a producer and we have two hosts.
Right.
I have a point of view that I want to propagate and put out there.
You?
Yes.
I don't see
now,
that.
If you have one and you have issues, you can bring these things up. And I will tell you about that lawsuit in Pam Bondi.
Right.
That there was one person in Florida. One person that complained about Trump University. And the reason what that Pam Bondi gave back then, she said you can join the New York lawsuit that Eric Schneiderman here in New York, the Attorney General, that's a class action lawsuit. You can join that. And that's why she didn't file suit down in Florida.
Not about the dinner, not about the...
Look, I admit the appearance of impropriety.
Right.
It's
but we're so quick to point that out every single time with the Clintons. And then when Trump does it... Of
How
course.
about Laureate University, by the way? Washington Post.
You've mentioned it 1,000 times.
But I did. But, just this week, just this past week, the Washington Post and CNN both did stories on it.
Okay.
And how Bill Clinton collected $17.5 million.
Good for him.
And they're being sued for fraud by people in South America and North.
God,
You brought it up, Sidney.
I'm just saying. We've talked about that university, Bill's University, and deservedly so. It should be mentioned. But anytime Trump does something unsavory or it looks like it's improper, there's always an excuse.
I don't claim
there was one person in Florida. When Donald and Fred get sued, when there's a federal lawsuit because they're putting the letter C for color on applications in New York City. Well, that went away. They won that thing. Money makes everything go away. O.J. Simpson was innocent because he had money.
That's a fact that one person complained, and she said you can join the New York lawsuit.
Right.
It's a class action.
Right. And I'm going to make a beautiful dinner at Mar-a-Lago for you and make it go away.
But I had a good answer for you.
You had a good answer.
And I knew about it.
No, it's a good answer.
But again,
it's nonsense.
I'm not fair and balanced.
It's nonsense.
I have a point of view.
Right.
I'm not going to do stuff to make her look good.
I understand.
Or to try to make my guy look bad. You can do it if you like. God bless. I'm glad you're feeling better.
I want them both to be. If something has gone awry with either one of them, they should both be taken to the carpet. That's all.
1-800.
Son of a bitch.
Jesse Ventura's coming in studio. He's got a ProPod FM.
He's another one.
Wait a second.
He's another one.
Oh, you said you were going to punch him in the face.
Who? Oh, he lives in Mexico. Trump hates the Mexicans and all that. Unless, of course, it's what holiday is that when he eats the taco bowl? And...
Oh yeah, Cinco de Mayo. That's
right.
The greatest Instagram post ever.
Right.
Bernie and Sid back after this.
Live, local, on it.
You never know what's going to happen.
Exclusively.
Bernie and Sid.
77 WABC.
You bet I got something to say. You check it out. Ooh, the most beautiful body in professional wrestling. And I got something to talk about. Everywhere I've been going throughout the country, I've been touring with Fleetwood Mac. I've been partying with REO Speedwagon. Why, I've even arm wrestled the werewolf of London, Warren Zevon.
Well, it's not often, Mean Gene, that champions go looking for challengers. Generally, it's the other way around. The challengers look for the champions.
I am the hottest thing in professional wrestling. I am the baddest dude that walks the streets today, Chump Hogan. And you think about that, Chump, because you could not beat me. You could not even beat Sylvester Stallone in the movie Rocky III. It was a draw. I'd have squashed that peanut in 30 seconds.
I'm going to pick up that big Andre. I'm going to press the dude once, press the dude twice, and then toss him right out of the ring. And Adrian and I are going to walk with 50 grand when just the two of us are left. Ain't that right, Adrian? Wait. Have you checked out the lateral deltoid lately?
The lateral deltoid?
Check that out. Because, baby, we are the best. We are the best of the 80s.
You know, that kind of talk...
East-West connection.
Sooner or later, gentlemen, you will eat your words. You can't be that overly confident.
Finally. Jeez.
There's a lot going on.
We have to go back. We have to go to commercials right now. It's so long.
He was, back then, he was Jesse the Body when he was wrestling. Then, of course, when he became the governor of Minnesota, edging my cousin Norm Coleman, he became Jesse the Mind. Do you remember that?
I do, yes, indeed.
Now what is he? Jesse the... well, that's up to you. I mean, show some balls and...
Well, Jesse the pothead.
Okay, that works.
The weed.
He does love weed. Loves Gary Johnson.
The weed whack job. How about that? No, he's actually a smart guy.
Very.
Listen, I got I disillusioned with him. First of all, the conspiracy theories about 9/11. Wasn't too happy about that. I mean, I thought it was kind of wacky.
Well, it is. He's crazy.
And also what he did with the guy Chris Kyle. He sued him.
Right.
And then Chris
American
Kyle.
Sniper.
But it turns out that maybe that Chris Kyle actually misrepresented what happened. So he was right in that regard. But then he sued, then Chris Kyle was killed.
Right.
And he sued Chris Kyle.
The wife.
The widow.
Right.
Which, I don't know. I didn't think that was too cool, but whatever. He's here. He's
otherwise you're cool. Well, he's not here.
But let me just say this. Speaking of conspiracy theories, because he is a conspiracist, he loves conspiracy theories. The United States was in on 9/11 or something. He can explain it himself. But the headline at Drudge, Hillary Clinton, she had on a pair of earrings, but she also had something in her ear.
Was this today in White Plains or last night?
No, this is last night.
Last night, okay.
And so the people are saying that she had, Hillary was wearing an earpiece.
Oh, God, leave her alone.
I swear to God.
It's so stupid.
But you see, there was actually a picture, and she has something in her ear.
I saw it.
Why are you burping?
What do you want me to do? It's not. Right. It's completely involuntary. I can put the microphone by my ass if you want. You'll get some more audio. You want that? Because just so you know, when Jesse walks in, It's going to be, you ever travel to Knapp Street in Brooklyn?
I don't think so.
Okay, Knapp Street in Brooklyn, which is not far from, like, King's Plaza.
Oh, yeah, I had a place there once.
Okay. Did you really? When you were a doctor or a lawyer?
No, when I was an elected official. I was with the city council back in the 90s.
Well, on the corner of Knapp Street, they have the duty plant. And all of the feces, all of the waste that comes in all over that area of Brooklyn comes into that building where they burn it, I guess. And when you drive past it, you can be 2 miles away and still smell it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So basically, that's what the studio.
That's what it is this morning. This is what that's what I'm suffering with this morning. But to your credit, through it all, you're doing a damn good job.
Well, the show's great no matter. Listen, you and I could be half dead. It doesn't matter where we are. The show's always going to be great. But I don't feel well. I just want you to know I don't feel well. I'm freezing. Again, see the headlights are on, but I'm having a great time.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll
be home sleeping in 2 hours.
I will be.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Take tomorrow off.
What if I go to lunch with? No, I can't. Tomorrow's the biggest day of the year. Tomorrow we got Bernard Kerrick in studio and Coulter in studio.
Yeah, you can't.
We got a monster show tomorrow.
You better get better.
I better, right? Well, what do you recommend I do? What is the Bernie elixir?
Drink
Just
water
sleep.
and sleep.
Tylenol?
And keep your hands off your wife.
Okay. Well, she's leaving. She's taking the kids to Florida for the weekend. And you know what was sad today, honestly? We'll get back to Hillary Clinton in a second. Today my kids started school in Brooklyn. It's a big deal. My kids have only gone to school in South Florida, Ava and Gabe. Today is their first day going to school in Brooklyn. And Ava looked adorable and Gabe looked so cute. And I couldn't even kiss him when they walked across the street to go to school.
Come on, man.
I'm like waving from the window like a loser.
Terrible.
God, it was horrible.
This is getting worse and worse.
I know.
Hell, I don't know how I'm going to continue.
First day of school, I couldn't even kiss him and hug him and wish him the best of luck. None of that.
That's nice. Well, we wish them all the best, of course.
Yes.
Gabe up a grade.
Yes, that's right. He skips second grade. He goes right to third grade. And Ava's starting seventh grade today. Very exciting stuff.
Nice. Okay, so to everybody out there.
Well, Brooklyn started school today, so a lot of the folks listening to us right now, their kids did. I know Flipper started Tuesday.
That's all you see on Facebook is people's posting pictures of the kids' first day.
Right. It's cute. You like that? You don't like that?
It's all right. It's
You're
nice.
like, I don't care about your dopey kid.
I like.
No, you don't like other people's kids.
I do.
You love my kids. I don't love my kids.
I like happy pictures on Facebook.
You do.
And I'm not a Facebook guy, but now that I have this new phone, I can scroll down.
Oh, you're a Facebook guy now.
I am now.
Oh my God!
You can just scroll.
You're the king of Facebook.
No, I'm not a king of Facebook. I don't post that. I don't write anything. I repost.
That's because you don't know how to do it.
Funny memes.
You don't know how to do it.
I like this. There's one meme that it was if Donald Trump had a brick for every lie Hillary Clinton told, he could build 2 walls.
See what he did there? You see that?
That's a Facebook meme. That's
see that?
funny. So I look for stuff like that.
And some of the things on your Facebook page, Bernard McGurk, are very funny. And they're against Hillary, who I'm
I try
for,
not, I try not to be too political. If it's funny, I'll put it in there. But I don't want to get into that Facebook bickering over politics.
I heard the conversation you had with Imus this morning. You and I have had the same vacation. This election has gotten so nasty. Like, I see other Facebook pages where, like, Sid's a lowlife, he's a loser, he should die because they're Trump supporters, and I'm not. And I just don't understand why anybody would care that much. I mean, if you think Hillary's a liar, which I do, you still want to vote for her, God bless you. That's your American right.
Exactly.
What are you getting angry for and calling people names?
I'll give you an example of somebody who does that.
Alan Combs.
Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer
says she will disown her friends.
She's an idiot.
If they support Donald Trump.
And she's fat.
She's representative, and she's not funny anymore. They canceled the show. She sucks.
Nope.
And
you know, by the way, she will always be known for having that movie where the guy got up in the movie theater in Louisiana and started shooting people and killed people in that theater. That was her movie.
That was her
Isn't that horrible?
That's horrible. Let's just leave it at that. Very horrible. And in the studio with us now.
Look at this guy.
Look at this man. The rock star himself.
He looks good, actually.
He does, yes.
Yeah.
So you said you were going to punch him in the face, but he looks pretty.
I'm not even a strength.
Now, listen, we like Jesse. Governor Jesse Ventura, good morning. And welcome to the Bernie and Sid show here on WABC.
Welcome back, actually.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Welcome to be in person.
If you're going to punch me out, do you normally do that to people who are on Medicare?
Him.
Yes. I don't care.
He was threatening you.
It's like Donald Trump. If I can win the fight, I'll take it.
Winning is winning. Jesse Ventura, he's got a new book out. Yep. It's called Jesse Ventura's Marijuana Manifesto. And he's had other books out. You're a New York Times best-selling author. But this book is all about advocating for the legalization of marijuana.
Absolutely.
And, of course, the first question that anybody would want to ask you is, Do you indulge yourself?
Oh,
certainly I have. I grew up in the 60s. I mean, anyone that grew up in the 60s, if they tell you they didn't smoke pot, either is lying or didn't grow up in the 60s.
Everybody has experiment, but is it part of your lifestyle?
Yeah, when I'm in Colorado.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's legal there.
That's why.
And you have a house there? You have a house there?
No, but I visit there.
Wait a second. You know, you could say, like, here in New York, I can tell you that I can say I indulge, and it's illegal, but it doesn't matter.
Which would be true.
And nobody's going to get arrested for. You could say.
Oh, you better read my book.
Oh,
really? Make that statement that nobody's going to get arrested.
Yeah.
All right.
Because plenty of people still get arrested for it. In fact, I'll give you an example. Washington, the state of Washington, that is now legalized for recreational and medicinal purposes, their first windfall. Their statewide judicial budget has fallen 15%, and that's mammoth.
Wow, that
is
at a
state level. Why? Because they're not prosecuting pot anymore. So 15% of their judicial budget went to imprison people or prosecute people from smoking a plant.
Which is completely ridiculous. Agreed on that.
Well, you know what's interesting? We did the history, and did you know for 160 years, marijuana hemp was the economic backbone of the United States of America. In fact, today, George Washington and Tom Jefferson would be arrested as drug dealers and put in prison today by the DEA.
But they weren't using it for
yes, they were.
Recreation.
Yes, they were.
But I would say
because Washington, in his diaries, talked about how he made the mistake and allowed the cross-pollination of his male and female hemp plants, which means they knew the females made you high and the males didn't, and he was ticked off because he didn't stop that from happening.
So how did they smoke it? Or
yes.
They smoked
at one
it, really?
time back then, England was the one, they made it mandatory for the colonies to produce marijuana because they were using it to create their big British Navy that went out the world and colonized. They needed it for rope, they needed it for sails, and all of those things. And England's only the size, basically, of New York State. So they needed this space, so they ordered the colonies to grow pot.
Jesse, what is this stigma then? What is the, like, for example, my parents, they're older. They're in their, whatever. They're older, and they think pot is for losers, and they're not in their 60s. Why is that stigma out there?
Because in the 30s, you had William Randolph Hearst, the big newspaper guy. He owned 25 newspapers. He and the government went on a propaganda thing, bastardizing marijuana racially, saying it's those crazy black people smoke this and it's a devil weed and all this. And his reason, his motive, like everything, money. Hearst owned thousands of acres of timberland, and by paying off the politicians, which goes on today, by paying them off in Washington, they declared hemp marijuana illegal, so it forced everybody to buy his trees for paper. And that way he had the market. Gotcha. Here we are in capitalism where it's supposed to be competition.
It was monopoly.
He eliminated the competition by making it illegal, so we were forced to buy his trees to make paper.
But there was also a puritanical streak in the American people that developed in the 30s and 40s. They put
because of what Hearst, he paid for Reefer Madness.
Right.
That crazy film
idiotic
that makes you think that if you smoke pot, you're going to commit mass murder.
Okay, but here's the question. Here's the question. There's a difference between legalizing marijuana and advocating and telling people, smoke weed is good for you. In other words, it should be legal, I agree, as alcohol is and should be.
And tobacco.
But you shouldn't encourage people to drink or smoke tobacco or smoke pot. It's not necessarily beneficial to you.
Well, pot can be. If you read Steve Cubby, the foreword, Steve Cubby had inoperable... I forget the type of... Wait a minute. The type of cancer. Doctors gave him 5 years to live. He went on heavy therapeutic marijuana. He's now been alive 35 years, and the doctors have attributed totally to marijuana, saved his life. And when you read about what the DEA did to him, he was in California, legally growing in his house. They broke in with SWAT teams, put him in prison,
terrible.
And he almost died because he then couldn't get the marijuana. It was keeping him alive.
I actually heard Jose Canseco once, because one thing about Jesse is, I know people know he was a wrestler, governor, but he was also involved in football. Tonight's the opening night of the season with the Panthers and the Broncos. He was an announcer for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's done everything, Jesse. Jose Canseco came out and said, if used properly, steroids, which you did plenty of, I'm sure, in the 80s when you were wrestling, they're not bad for you.
Well, they're more harmful than marijuana.
Okay.
Steroids have way more bad. Any pills like pharmaceuticals today. The reason, I'll tell you why I'm so passionate on this, and I've made it my life's mission now to see full legalization. So I won't say who because of privacy, but someone very close to me developed late-stage epileptic seizures later in life. I was dealing with this person 4 seizures a week. This person went to the doctors. They put him on 4 different pharmaceutical medicines, one after the other. None of them worked. They all had horrible side effects. I took the person to Colorado at the time because it was illegal in Minnesota, got the person medical marijuana in Colorado. This person has been seizure-free now for 2.5 to 3 years and is off all pharmaceutical medicine. Totally marijuana has stopped the seizures, and the person doesn't use the stuff that gets you high.
Right.
It was drops under the tongue, and now it's in pill form. 1 pill in the morning, 1 pill at night, equals no seizures, no epileptic seizures.
Fantastic.
You have cases like that out there, and yet our government is denying people cruelly the health benefits of marijuana.
Jesse Ventura, former governor Jesse Ventura, former wrestler, all-around star, as if you couldn't tell by the sound of his voice.
Even
Navy
a mayor.
SEAL.
I was a mayor,
He was
too,
a damn
like
mayor.
Norm.
Right.
And he was a porn star, too,
Yes,
I think, right?
he was
Anyway,
tremendous.
No.
Jesse Ventura's book is called Marijuana Manifesto. But quickly, my original question was, all the medical marijuana benefits, I grant you, good. But you should not, people like Snoop Dogg, and they encourage young people to smoke recreationally.
Well,
if you had a son and a daughter who's 17 years old, you wouldn't encourage them to say, go ahead and smoke. I want you to smoke every day. It's good for you.
I'd rather have them smoking pot than cigarettes or tobacco.
That's true, but
alcohol.
But if they could do without it.
Now, Tommy Chong, my friend, is probably one of the great experts of marijuana. Tommy Chong.
Sure, Cheech and Chong.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, man, what's up with you, man?
Tommy makes the distinction of this. There should be no separation from recreational and medical because here's why. The people that smoke it for the euphoric feeling, it's mental health. That's what helping post-traumatic stress soldiers. Marijuana will help football players with the head injuries.
Concussions, yes.
The concussions and all that.
Yeah.
So people who smoke it for the euphoric feeling, what would you rather do, smoke pot or take Prozac?
No.
I'll take pot over Prozac.
But you're creating a full circle. What I'm saying is if you have, ideally, you have a kid.
Nobody says it should be for kids.
Or a 19-year-old. You would rather they didn't drink or smoke, period. Either one, right? Okay, that's all. I just wanted
But the thing is this.
When
I was in office, I very much said this. Look, freedom comes with a price if you want freedom. And let me explain. Freedom also means the freedom to be stupid. And I always said as governor, you can't legislate stupidity.
Agree.
People are going to do stupid things.
Right.
Now, is drug abuse stupid? Yes, it might be. But should addiction be illegal? No. Because it's a disease. We need to treat it medically, not criminally.
Thank you.
Agreed. Wanted to clarify that, but thank you for doing so.
And the point is, nobody says go out and smoke pot. But if you feel the
Some people do.
Well, what's the difference between that and a glass of wine at night?
Well, no, I agree with you.
If you come home at a long day's work, you kick back in front of the TV.
I do both.
It makes dinner taste a whole lot better.
I do both. You're preaching to the converted. I'm just saying to people out there, I mean, it's not necessarily like taking vitamin C. It is detrimental, though it should be legal.
Not very much. It could actually, it's food. You can survive off eating marijuana. There's nutrition to it.
And health-wise, it's better to do edibles these days.
Let's talk about it religiously.
We have to break.
If you're a believer in God, didn't God make it?
Yes, he did. He made everything.
Governor Jesse Ventura in studio with Bernie and Sid. We're going to come back with more of this and politics. And Gary Johnson put his foot in his mouth big time this morning. He's your guy.
No, he didn't.
Okay,
I'll explain why he didn't.
Back with Bernie and Sid and Jesse Ventura.
77 WABC. Traffic. ABC.
The word judgment has been used a lot around you, Secretary Clinton, over the last year and a half, and in particular concerning your use of your personal email and server to communicate while you were Secretary of State. You've said it's a mistake. You said you made not the best choice. You were communicating on highly sensitive topics. Why wasn't it more than a mistake? Why wasn't it disqualifying if you want to be Commander-in-Chief?
That was Matt Lauer last night on the Intrepid on the Hudson at this MSNBC or NBC forum with Hillary and Donald Trump, and he's catching a lot of heat for for giving her a hard time, they say. I mean, he actually grew a pair and conducted a non-lackey-like interview.
Which he never does, and I want to get Jesse's opinion on that, but you went to break talking about Gary Johnson, because the last time Jesse was on this show, he did, in fact, endorse Gary. And Gary was on television this morning, and you made the point, Bernard, about 8 minutes ago. He had a bit of a faux pas.
You had the Gary Johnson clip, Crash? Okay, good. Let's play that one.
What would you do if you were elected about Aleppo?
About
Aleppo.
And what is Aleppo?
You're kidding.
No.
Aleppo is in Syria. It's the epicenter of the refugee crisis.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Well, with regard to Syria, I do think that it's a mess. I think that the only way that we deal with Syria is to join hands with Russia to diplomatically bring that at an end.
Now, that was Gary Johnson on MSNBC this morning.
Yep.
On Bernie and Sid here with Governor Jesse Ventura, who's a Gary Johnson supporter.
Yep.
He didn't know what Aleppo was.
Neither do I.
Come on, listen. And you are feigning ignorance because you're a smarter guy.
No, I'm not.
Anybody with
cursory
knowledge.
If you're pulling out of the Middle East wars, why the hell do you need to know of a city over there? Get us out of there. 15 years we've accomplished nothing.
I agree with you.
We've spent trillions of dollars.
Couldn't agree more.
So if you're coming home, who the hell cares about Aleppo?
If you're running for president, Governor, with all due respect, you have to know Aleppo. I know Aleppo. Everybody knows. The pictures of the kids that are bleeding from the head and all that stuff garnered all this sympathy. It was all over the
cover
news.
of every newspaper. You
have to know Aleppo. And by the way, he's a pot smoker.
Right.
Gary Johnson.
No, he's not. Listen, he takes it via
edibles.
Food. Edibles.
But you think that he's not going to have a fair... So you mentioned, I'll never forget this, Bernard, you like this too. He was running against my cousin in Minnesota on Labor Day. He was getting killed, Jesse. Norm was beating him pretty badly. And we're having dinner, me and my family. My family goes, he's going to win. This guy Jesse's shtick Drek. He's a wrestler. And I'm like, listen, be careful. This guy, he has a platform that appeals to young kids, and I wouldn't say this guy's done. 60 days later, who won?
I did.
Right, because you're able to actually appear in the debates. You feel like because they're not going to allow Gary Johnson, because they don't have enough percentage
or Dr. Stein.
Or Dr. Stein, that it's not really a fair race.
It isn't fair. It's all fixed because I proved it. I was at 10% or lower Labor Day. I was allowed in the debates, and in 60 days, I was the governor of Minnesota.
That's a fair point.
The same thing could happen here if they're allowed in the debates. But now you got two candidates here that their negatives are over 50%. People hate them both. Shouldn't they provide an alternative other than being... Remember what the late, great Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead said. If you're made to pick the lesser of two evils, it means you're still picking evil.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, why shouldn't we allow someone not to pick evil? I'm proudly voting for Gary Johnson, not against someone.
Hey, listen, I don't disagree that he should be on the debate stage, but he should know Aleppo. That's not going to help him get on the debate stage not knowing it. But to his point that we have to work with Russia, that's a point that Donald Trump makes, and he's getting killed for it by Hillary Clinton. We have to work with Russia to get rid of ISIS if we want to. We should at least enlist them. Why not? You're friendly with the Russians. You want to work for Russian TV? I think you do.
I just signed with Russian TV.
There you go.
Let's look at it from this aspect. Syria is 250 miles from the Russian border. So if there was a war going on, say, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania,
right,
wouldn't New York pay attention to it?
Of course.
Yes. Yet we're halfway around the world from it. And yet we're entrenched over there. Russia has a right to pay attention to it.
I agree, 100%.
They're only 250 miles away. And Putin takes the position, his belief is, I'd rather have the enemy I know than the one I don't know. That's why he supports Assad, because we've taken
which
down.
is why we should support Assad.
We've taken down 2 dictators over there.
Hasn't worked well.
It hasn't worked well at all.
Thank you, Hillary.
Chaos. And thank you, Hillary. Hillary Clinton, her most important vote as a senator was when she voted for the Iraq war, and she now admits it's a mistake.
And she said last night it was a mistake, but she has not apologized to the dead soldiers or their families or the mutilated soldiers. That is a disgrace.
So
you're okay then with Donald Trump coming on television and saying, hey, if Putin thinks I'm a genius, I love it. He's my guy.
Vladimir Putin's the president of Russia. Don't you think he's going to look out for Russia's best interest?
Just like Trump.
Let me give it to you this way. I went to Russia in December because of this new arrangement.
Yeah.
I met Putin.
Oh.
Now,
how about that?
Wait, let me back up. I'm involved in a court case at the federal level where they just reversed a jury's decision to make me go back to court again. The 2 judges federal judges wrote a 29-page brief. Never once in that brief did they show me the respect and call me governor. Yet I met Vladimir Putin. The first thing he said to me, he acknowledged me as governor. Thank you, governor, for coming.
All right, so you sound a lot like Donald Trump in your respect for Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
But you're not really, but you think Trump is crazy, don't you?
No, I don't think he's crazy. Donald's been a friend of mine for 25 years. I just disagree with him on the war. I'm against the wars. Let's get out of there.
He's against it, too.
But he's going to fight it.
No, it's
going to go on for another.
He'll maybe drop a nuke on Raqqa, which is by the way that's a city in Syria, which I think you know as Aleppo is.
My point is this: I'm opposed to the wars. I also am opposed to turning the United States into East Berlin.
Turning the United States.
Yeah.
Building
a wall.
Right. So you don't think we should have a secure border?
Fine, but not a wall.
Okay,
I mean, I remember Ronald Reagan. Correct me if I'm wrong.
We're in agreement.
I remember Ronald Reagan saying, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Sure.
And now we're going to build one?
Yes, because you need a secure border.
Then why don't we build one at Canada?
Because nobody's coming in from Canada.
Oh, yes, the 9/11 hijackers came from Canada.
They're not coming in
droves. It doesn't matter. They still came in from Canada.
Fundamentally,
and if you don't build it in Canada, you're a racist. You got to do both borders.
All right,
now, here's my trade-off. Politics is compromise,
Mexico's
right?
not a race, by the way.
No. Here, right, but Latino, that is, But anyway, here's my compromise. Allow me to bring all our troops home and shut down our 178 worldwide bases, bring our troops home, and let the military guard both borders.
Couldn't agree. See, that's a brilliant idea. That's more in line with Donald Trump.
Middle East.
More in line with Trump.
Out of the Middle East.
Yes.
We're finished with those wars, and I'm not following Donald Trump. I'm following.
It's more in line.
No, I'm following the teachings of Major General Smedley Butler. He served 100 years ago, and he said we need to pass a constitutional amendment that our troops can't go over 500 miles from our shore. Now, they can't discredit Major General Butler. He wrote the great book, War is a Racket, where he tells you all these wars are not fought for what they tell you.
Right.
They're fought because people profit from them. Take, for example, Brown and Root got the $1 billion contract to dredge Cam Bay in Vietnam so we could get our ships in there. They made $1 billion. Guess who they are today? Halliburton.
Okay.
They're war profiteers. They just changed their name. Well, going back to General Butler, he wrote the great book War is a Racket, where he exposes war is a racket. And they can't discredit General Butler. You want to know why?
Tell me.
As hard as they want, he didn't win one. He won 2 Congressional Medals of Honor.
Okay. Well, God bless me.
How do you discredit someone?
But
a Congressional Medal of Honor winner who tells you war is a racket.
What would you tell the Holocaust survivors about war is a racket? What would you tell them?
Right.
I wouldn't tell them anything about it because
that war was. That needed to be done. No.
Absolutely.
Okay. So maybe it's not always a racket.
It's still. We forced the Japanese to attack us because of our oil embargo of Japan. They they had no choice. It was either attack us or fold the tents.
That is true.
Then why in your lifetime? Because we speak to a lot of service kids, guys that are still in the service, out of the service, and they always say the same thing. They are fighting for this country because they love the country. They put the agenda from the government and the politics aside.
Yep.
You were a Navy SEAL.
Yep.
You were out there.
But I'm not anymore. Therefore, I don't put the politics aside.
So it's
my job.
You change your mind.
No, it's my job as a veteran to protect other veterans and not send them to war over something that they shouldn't be going to war over.
It's none of our business.
Exactly.
I agree with you 1,000%. And that's what makes me sick about Hillary Clinton. She didn't learn the lesson of Iraq, even though she said it was a mistake. Libya, she wanted to take out Bashir Assad in Syria. She never learned the lesson.
But she's not saying that now.
No,
I heard her
of
this
course
morning.
Not. Bernie Sanders schooled her on.
That's fine. She's not saying that now. So then why is she such a bad choice?
Well, because she will be simply business as usual.
Bought and paid for by the same people.
Bought and paid for by the same people. Like if you go to the Democratic convention and the Republican convention, the same corporate lobbyists are there buying off both sides. So it's like this for the layman. When the Super Bowl comes, bet on both teams. You don't lose. Well, doesn't that ensure you don't lose?
Well, you lose the big.
And that's what they do. They pay off the Repubs. They pay off the Dems.
They don't lose.
So they don't lose.
But that's where my boy Donald Trump comes in, because he's not bought and paid for. He's a different breed.
Yeah,
he's not a conventional Republican.
But Pence is.
You're right. Pence is. He had to pick Pence because he's got to win. He's got to be practical.
Oh, no. He should. That's why when he was first running, when he was first got in it, that's when I came out and said, if Donald really wants to piss off the Republicans, he should pick me as his running mate.
Right. You weren't kidding, were you?
No.
Yeah. Because I heard you a couple years ago.
Yeah, because I would then they'd have really been the ultimate independent.
Did anybody ever contact? Honestly, anybody ever contact you? Because I know Howard Stern talked about running with you.
No, I said I wanted Howard as a running mate.
Right.
Because you want a despicable VP for an insurance policy.
Right. That's right.
That way they don't kill you.
That's funny.
To put him in.
That's true. That's
funny. You know where that came from? When I was getting out of office, I had a big party, and Charles Barkley, my friend Charles, came up.
Oh, yeah, love Charles.
And I said, and this was pre-Obama, this was 2003, and I said, if I ever run for president, I'm taking Charles Barkley as my running mate. They took the mic to Charles. Charles goes, I think that's brilliant, Governor. I'm all for cutting down government expense. And if you took me, we could get rid of the Secret Service. And I said, Charles, I was puzzled. How could we get rid of the Secret Service? And Charles Barkley goes, because there ain't nobody going to kill you and put a black man like me in there.
Yeah, that's very funny. That's very
And it's also very true.
Which leads me to this final question. The book is Jesse Ventura's Marijuana Manifesto.
Yep.
It's very informative. All kinds of he's advocating for the legalization, the history of marijuana here. George Washington used to smoke pot. It's a great, interesting book, Marijuana Manifesto. But the question is this. You said to Sid earlier about the NFL that the owners paid somebody to honor veterans.
Yeah, when they bring out the flag and stuff, they actually make $5,000 a team.
Got caught.
They got paid.
John McCain found in the defense bill. It was killed in a day. Boy, they hushed that baby up. John McCain found in the defense bill our tax dollars were being paid by the Department of Defense to the billionaire owners of the NFL
for the flyovers and the generals on the field
to honor veterans.
So my question to you: did you find what Colin Kaepernick did, disrespecting the veterans, as disgusting?
He
and why
is not disrespecting the veterans. No, I'm not. No.
What he did is based on a falsehood.
Wait a minute. He is not disrespecting veterans.
Sure he is.
No, he is not.
What about cops?
Then why
wearing
was
socks with pigs on them?
Why did the Green Beret stand next to him? If he was disrespecting veterans.
I don't know anything about that, but let me just say this.
Let me finish.
There are studies showing that cops do not shoot black males the way he represents. He's perpetuating a falsehood.
Oh, yes. Wait a minute. We did a study in Minnesota when I was governor in 2001 with 68 of our police departments. Here's what we revealed. Black drivers were pulled over twice as much as white drivers, only they were only 15% of the Minnesota driving force. Black drivers, double white drivers on being patted down when they're pulled over. And get this, here was the real thing. White drivers twice as many times were found with contraband more than the black drivers were.
Jesse Ventura,
so when they pull over a black driver, they're hoping to bust him for drugs.
But on the shooting part of it, my
and Kaepernick,
position is true.
Kaepernick is merely exercising his First Amendment rights to protest.
Doesn't make it savory.
Socks with portraying cops as pigs. That's
fine.
Hey,
you may not agree with him, but he has every right to do it.
Jesse Ventura, you get the last word, and your book is Marijuana Manifesto. You're a great guest. It's an honor to have you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. And I am a veteran who does not care if I fought so Colin Kaepernick would have the freedom to do what he does. Right. If you take that away, then let's go back to 30s Germany.
And I believe you know what Aleppo, where it is.
No doubt. He's been there.
Bernie
He was at spring break last year.
77 WAB.